Hello everybody. This is Kirisho here, and now, before we begin, let us give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of things have happened. Now, we had Deku and Tokage. These two, they went back to Deku's group to rejoin. Tokage was unsure of it, but after learning that these people were from UA, she was happy. She found people she knew the day the outbreak happened. And this, it was definitely something new. She was welcomed with open arms, and the group allowed these two to shower and allowed them to rest. Deku explained briefly a few things that happened out there, where he was, and where they came from. Deku, however, seemed to have changed to everybody, missing a finger and his personality drastically different. No longer studying, no longer unsure of his words, no longer shy about bloodshed either. Deku became a little bit more blunt, and this, it slightly unnerved people. Baka retreated into himself after about what happened with Denki. After all that crazy shit, and after he took a pretty heavy blow. He's still alive, but he certainly has been affected by his encounter with the apocalypse than Deku. Now, currently Izuku, he does sit there. Rest has been a bit strange. It's been weird. And currently Deku, he does sit there outside. Somebody is on watch today. And May, she's been able to get that crucible of hers somewhat working. Though, heading to an actual scrapyard, that would be a challenge. That will be hard. May talked about how she needs a lot in order to actually forge some things they can use. She needs not only the components, the metals, but ways to purge the impurities, ways to just figure stuff out. She needs proper tools. They could head to hardware stores, and there's even the idea to head to a beach and get a bucket full of sand. Just collect as much as they can and do what they can there. I mean, given the right circumstances, if they fill up barrels or drums, they can purify seawater, get salt to pack stuff for the winter, and keep it preserved, dry it out. I mean, just having that stuff on hand could be good for them. Having a way to have clean drinking water could be good. The ocean, that thing may not move for some time. Hell, it may never move. It's been around forever. So they should be okay. Though, that does put more concern on the group. They need a lot of things to be done. And winter, it is just about to rear its ugly little head. Because it might be harsh and it might be brutal. And if they don't have the proper amount of supplies, they won't survive it. And that, it does put a lot of concern on the group. And we do currently have Deku. Deku, he currently does sit there. Right now him outside as he does go to turn. Him going to grab his glass and pour a drink. Right now him going to turn and grab a soda as he's going to crack it open. Him turning over and pouring it into his glass. And after he does go to toss the soda can and bring it up. Him going to drink from it as Deku, he has a turn looking at the target in front of him. Him going to bring his hand down and grab a knife. Bring it up over his head and try to toss it. Right now it going to fly through the air and smash onto the target. Before it does bounce off and hit the ground. And Deku, he does hear the steel hit the floor. Him a lot more annoyed. And Deku, he has a turn grabbing another knife. And currently, he does repeat this process, as we do have inside, where Ochako's been worried. She's wanted to talk to Izuku about a few things, but he's just been sheltering himself, isolating. She's not sure the best way to say it, but He's quiet. Bakugo said that he mutters if he's nervous. But he's not nervous, is he? Is he scared? Afraid? It's just, there's a lot going through her head. Her currently going to look up from the book and ask Momo if she thinks that he's doing okay. And Momo, she just won't sit there. Her going to express with a glass of wine that maybe Izuku, he just has a few things going through his head. He's been away from them for some time, right? Tokage talked about it. What happened there was not fun. It wasn't good. I mean, she's she's highly certain it would affect quite a lot of people. Her gonna turn and grab the cold glass as she's to pick it up and go to take a sip. Before there actually is Jiro, who would, could us not chime in, looking up from her book and going to turn. Her going to toss it over to a pile as she's to express, grabbing another one, opening it up. Yeah, she's not gonna lie. The fact that he came back is a miracle in its own. Though, it does make her question it. Like, what's in the city? You're right. He's been in the deepest that we've seen. But there's that way they traveled, right? Smearing someone else's guts on you? I mean, it makes sense, but it sounds disgusting. It does, doesn't it? Though we could use that, right? Do you really want to cover yourself in someone? Ew, Momo. Hey, I'm just saying. Tactically, it's a good idea. I mean, there's those giant mimicking vocal monsters. They they'll try to hunt us. If the tactic can work on dogs and regular infected, I mean, who's to say it doesn't work on them? We don't know what's inside the city. Besides, it's got me worried. Though, if there's more in that city than we know, we'll need that tactic. Besides, stores further in might have more stuff. We'll need to go in eventually. Winter's just around the corner, Momo. Or Chaco. Momo gonna turn, asking Jiro if it's a good idea, though. I mean, they could wear masks, right? Something to cover their faces so they don't smell the blood? Or the guts? Maybe, but we'd have to find them first. You're right about that. Let's quickly cut back to Deku. Currently, Izuku, he does a walkover, going to grab the knives as he pick them up, going to turn and walk back over to the stairs. Him going to sit down and turn back to the knives, going to grab the blades and pick one of them up. The guy talked about it before. A knife can be thrown and used as a weapon, so they've got to figure that out. He's got to get pretty good at throwing a knife. There's no telling what you can do. Deku bring up the weapon, going to turn and chuck it out. And currently there's a smash into the target and actually sticking to it this time. But Deku, he does want the knife someone going to bend down a bit because of the force and try to escape. As right now Bakugo, he is on his feet. Him walking around and currently going to see a few things. Him going to turn as the door is to open. Tokage going to walk out and turn her head, seeing Bakugo and giving him a bit of a look, since he's the guy they've talked about before. And Bakugo, he does want to sit there still leaning against the wall, asking her exactly what she's doing here. Tokage, you must be Bakugo. They talked about a girl coming with him, but I didn't expect you. Your face, you look familiar. Have I... Yue. Right. Need some help? I'm fine. Still getting used to crutches. I heard about what happened to your friend. I'm sorry. Listen, I want to make this work. I don't know if my group is alive anymore. Alright? This is the best I've had it for a while. I'm not going to mess it up. We're going to turn and talking about it. His friend is hurt, and he might need somebody to talk to. She's going to go talk to him. And Bakugo, he is going to watch her walk away. Her going to hear him talk about it. Hey, wait up. Her just won't stand there. As right now, her and Bakugo, you're going to make their way down the hallway. And Tokage does try to ask questions about Deku, since he's not very talkative. And there currently is where Bakugo and Tokage, they do eventually find him. Deku sitting down outside as Bakugo, he is a turn. Gonna yell out, yo, as Deku threw a knife. Him gonna turn as you see Bakugo and Tokage. It right now gonna hit its target as Deku, he has to turn his head back and see that it is currently sticking out of the wood. Now, Bakugo, he does stare at Deku. Him gonna turn and look back at Bakugo. Right now, him with a knife in his hand. What's up? Not much. Need to talk to you. Can we talk later, Bakugo? I'm sort of practicing. Practicing what? My throwing. It might come in handy. I'm gonna turn. Talking about it. He knows he's been meaning to try and do a lot. There's a few things they should all try and practice. Get better at. Things they may not like. You want to talk about it? No. Just leave me alone. Unless you want to be my drinking buddy. It's 9 in the morning, and you're drinking? Scotch? No. Izuku, Listen, I'm still getting better from all my fucked up shit, alright? After Denki happened, it wasn't easy. I could have died. I thought I was going to die. And when I turn and take a sip of his drink, and Tokage, she has come walking up. Her gonna sit down and ask Izuku for a glass. Him going to turn and hand her his, as he's a turn back and grab one of the 3 sodas he is out sitting down. Him gonna pick up the cold glass container of alcohol. Right now, him gonna hold it up to her as she does gonna clink her glass to his. Him just gonna take a swig back of this massive container. And Bakugo, he does see the scars forming on Deku's wrist, and they're quite telling. Izuku lost a finger. He lost a lot. From what he understands, those people had him for a couple, more than 2 weeks. They had him for a long time. Izuku just lost a lot of things. But his face. Looking at him, he doesn't smile. Does he not believe it anymore? He lost that innocence he had. And it does make Bakugo upset. Holding on to innocence in this new world is the only real thing they have. Holding on to their morals is the only thing they have. And Deku may have compromised his own to survive. And that, it does tell Bakugo quite a bit. He already knew he did some pretty messed up things. But this could be worse. A lot worse. Because going forwards, they need to trust people. But Deku might have trouble with that. And it's justified. Bakugo's skeptical too. He doesn't want to trust Tokage. But right now Deku has a drinking buddy. And the two, they're chucking knives at the target in front of them. Bakugo gonna turn and walk away on his crutches, telling Deku they're going to have a chat later. And Deku does bring up his right arm, him waving Bako off as they turn and chuck the knife, as Tokage just to pick up another one. And the two, they do just sit there silently. They can understand one another. After the shit they've dealt with, yeah. Having a friend, it's good right now. Having someone who understands that torment, pain, it's good. And Bako, he goes ahead into a room where Ochako, her, Jiro, and Momo, they were all still there. And he wanted to talk to all of them about Deku. Ochako needs to talk to her boyfriend. And Bako, that's how he opens up that conversation. As Ochako does a turn with her face a little red. And Bako, he does stand on his crutches. Him trying to talk about it. Since Momo, she's a turn looking at him. And trying to tell him that he really shouldn't be up. Since he might open up his stitches. I'll be fine. I'm okay. Shit. Can't expect me to be in bed all the time. I'll get sores like that, you know. I know, I read it in the book, alright? I got that. But still, you shouldn't be on your feet. No, I shouldn't be putting weight down on my leg. That's what I'm not doing, alright? Listen. Izuku knows the most about the city right now. We need to talk to him and find out more about that. Right now, he's outside getting drunk at 9, while all of us are trying to plan things out. And I can't blame him. Alright? We let him be like that for a few days. But still, he's got to focus. These people who took him could still be after him. If they followed him or tracked him down, they'll be on our ass. Hatsume is still doing a lot to get her forge off the ground. I mean, she's got the cast iron stuff. She's got some tools, but not much. We need to actually head out somewhere. Go to a scrapyard and maybe she can start working on getting the metals. Get what we need. She's working on this thing right now, but honestly, I don't know. Know about what? If it will work. It's all in the air. It's all messed up. That's what we've got. Okay? That's what we know. If the deceivers are the biggest thing in the city, we need to find a way to take them down. Hatsume needs to work on a better bow and arrow. Actually make one out of steel. Actually make one that's tough. That might take a minute. I know it might take a minute, Ochako, but still. It's a concern. If these things can be active during winter, we're not going to get much resources. Our crops may not survive. And, as far as I'm aware, we could all fucking die. Alright? Let's face away from the city. The deceivers are a big problem. We'll deal with that in the winter. Right now, though, we need to look at the forest. The forest? Yeah. Maybe even drive out there. Find wild animals, wild game. You really want to do that? It's an idea. Your freezer still works, and if we can get the solar panels, we can set up a bit of a solar farm. Enough to keep this place up and running and powered during the winter. Especially if it gets cold. That's very true. Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, a big house like this will need a lot of power. Especially to stay warm. Me and Tamaki might be able to handle that. Do that. But still. Maybe Todoroki can help me out, actually. If Tamaki's too busy being a fucking gardener, it's not like that. Then what's it like? I can barely move, alright? And I'm still trying to figure out how to handle things. Help out myself. He needs to go out there, face reality. All of us have tried to face reality, Bakugo. That doesn't make it any easier. I know. Bakugo staring at Momo. And Momo, she can see it on Bakugo's face. That's not him being an asshole. That's just him being real. That's him not holding back the fact they understand everything already. They know they can't change things. They know it's all fucked. And he's just trying to make sure they all don't freeze to death. Though, she's also bringing up the other idea. Winter gear. And Bakugo, he can at least agree to that. They can do a lot. Take some of the clothes and sheets, even some of the, blankets, and layer the windows. Make sure they can get everything sealed off and keep this place warm. And Momo, she does agree. There's a lot they can do. I mean, the curtains in the library, for example, are massive and thick. They certainly have their own, let's just say, reasons to take those down. It could be good. And this, it does begin to take form. They'll need to make sure to have plenty of water and keep this place warm. Make sure this place has plenty of energy for the heaters and for them. And also make sure that Hatsume can get what she can to make proper weapons. Make proper items they can use. And currently Hatsume, she just won't stand there. Her looking at the room before looking down at her last and latest invention. Right now, this is the only thing she can make without the use of a forge. It's been interesting. A lot of physical work. But with the right bends and shapes, she was able to create a slingshot. They found some elastic material nearby a hero agency. I mean, she's pretty sure it might have belonged to a hero costume, but even then, it still works. It's super elastic, and her pulling it back and finding the tension in it is good. Her gonna let go of it as it is a slap forwards. And this, it does give her a bit of a smile. Her gonna do a few things. That was a bit loud, but okay, just with a bit more shaping and no, cutting it could be a bad idea. Right. Okay, but no, wait. Something to properly cutting it is not a bad idea. Her thinking about it as she's being able to run around and look at something. Her going to take a piece of cut leather and stitch it together with these items. As right now, just to stare at the slingshot a bit more complete, pulling it back and then slapping it forwards. As this time, it doesn't make less sound. And it definitely does seem a lot more controlled with where the projectiles might be fired from. Just mark a line there and it can be how you aim. Her holding it up and finding it definitely does need a few more things. Though it does seem good. Right now her going to let go of it and go to bring up her left hand or bring up her right hand. Grabbing onto the slingshot and going to pull her hand out and underneath the slot she made for it to sit right there on your wrist. And this, it definitely does mean quite a lot to Miss Hatsume. Since, if she can make some more of these things, they can definitely be some pretty good stealth weapons. Along with that, stuff they find like marbles and even rocks could be good. They have ammo, just in different shapes and sizes. So yeah, testing this baby out, it might be a good idea. And currently, just a look up from her workshop. Her going to turn and look out the window. Seeing Deku right now sitting there, chucking a knife through the air as a smash into the target. And she does go to walk outside, since she just want to test this out. Right now her with some marbles I'm gonna get ready. As Deku, he just won't sit there. Him going to take another shot. As he does, they're gonna chase it down with some soda. Right now, Tokage going to sip her drink as she's to bring her hand up. Her throwing the knife through the air as a smash into it. And she's to turn back to Deku, talking about it. She's pretty sure she's getting better at this. Yeah. Though, it's not really technique, right? Sort of is, it feels. Though, you just gotta know how hard to throw it. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. There could be a better alternative. Both of them gonna turn. May gonna bend down and grab the glass container and bring it up. Her looking to see that there's still some left inside. Gonna take a swig of the alcohol before going to express. They got into the fine scotch? Whatever. Her going to turn and sit down onto the table. That right now she wants to show off one of her latest inventions, since it definitely might be good to use. And Deku, he has watched Hatsume bring her hand up with a slingshot, going to express, going to bring up a marble and pull this thing backwards, as the two do a turn and May does to fire it. And everyone inside, they were going to hear a sound. Them going to jump up as there actually is Bakugo. Bakugo, he was walking around, just trying not to sit back down. And whenever he heard that sound, he thought it was a bit of a gunshot, though it did concern him. Right now, him going to quickly move. As everyone, they do find Hatsume. Her firing two more marbles at the wood, as Deku, he does a stare on at that. Her going to express. If they can find more material, they can definitely make more of these. Along with that, even looking at the Hero Association buildings could be an idea. If they find some support gear, there's no telling what she can do to repurpose it. I mean, it's certainly an idea. It's made of metal and fine stuff. It's made to be used out in combat. And, she does hate to say it, but it's the perfect place to get some loot. Although it's also the most dangerous. And Deku, he does agree. Right now, her going to bring her hand out of the slingshot and turn, handing it over to Deku. Her gonna stare down at his hand. Oof, what happened to you? Long story. Don't look too good. Need a drink? Been having some. Alright. Well, big guy, I've been making some armor. Her bring her hand up, and patting him on the arm, expressing to him, come by the workshop and maybe test it out. The next time they go out, try out her bite-resistant clothing, and see if that could be a good thing or a bad thing. Though that is where most of her medals have been going. And this is where Maid is a turn, going to walk away. And Deku, he has a turn back to Hatsume, since a bite-resistant jacket. Huh. Not a bad idea. Now, with that being said, Deku's a turn back. Him going to look at the target with a slingshot in hand. And right now Deku, he's gonna have the marble fly through the air, smashing into and busting a hole through the target. As he has to turn his head and look directly at All Might, who does his stare silently at the hole before going to turn his head looking at Deku. And Deku, he's gonna stare back at him. Tokage trying to ask if he missed. No, I didn't. You want to try? Now, while that's all happening, we do currently have the Deceiver inside the city. It lost its target, but right now it does feel a pull. It feels where he may be. It needs to find him. And right now, it has picked up on his location. It almost can feel his scent. And right now, it does gotta get on the move. And with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.